Hello everyone again. My name is Julen Imaña. I work for Atelier Europe, and I'm gonna share again the slides if my computer allows. Sorry, 1 minute. There we go. I hope you all can see my slides now. So, thank you. Today we will be talking about practical strategies for decarbonizing and modernizing district heating and cooling in Europe. This is approached as a city course, so the idea is that all the learnings from today, we can bring them back to our work with the cities and implement them directly in the city's effort on heating and cooling. The agenda for today, as you can see here, is first a welcome and introduction by myself, and then we will have 4 speakers for the day. First of all, Isabela León from ECODES. She will talk about guidelines for heating and cooling plants in Spanish municipalities. Then we have Petra Bivoet from The Hague, who will talk about decarbonizing strategies and challenges in the city of The Hague. Then Omar Shafkat from Amsterdam University of Applied Sciences will bring us 2 innovative projects on heating and cooling in the cities of Amsterdam and Bilbao. And finally, Kadri Hansalu from Utilitas in Estonia will talk about marketing strategies to improve social acceptance of heating and cooling in the cities. We encourage you to ask a few questions after each of the presentations, but also we will have a discussion and open Q&A at the end of the webinar. So we hope that you can gather all your questions by then and we can all have a nice discussion. Having said that, before we start, I would like to get to know a bit the audience for the day. So maybe if you can all post in the chat which type of company are you representing today? Are you coming from a city? Are you coming from an energy company, an NGO, a university, association? Let us know what is your company about so we can know a bit the audience for today. Okay. Yasmin, I'm having trouble seeing the chat. Could you let us know what people are posting there?
Yeah, I don't. So we've just had some people coming, some feedback. So we've got someone from Energy Cities working with the network on heating and cooling and decarbonization. Baseload Capital, which is investigating in and developing geothermal energy. Euroheat and Power, the International Network for District Energy, promoting sustainable heating and cooling in Europe. We've got a project coordinator from Atelier.
Nice.
And I think Omar will talk about that project. We've got more people from The Hague, from the city administration, from Riga's energy agency.
Okay.
And there's a couple. Also, the European Geothermal Energy Council is represented, and someone from Islington Council in London.
Okay, so we have a good mix here.
Exactly.
Few cities, associations. It's good to hear that. Nice. It's always good to have a variety of audiences so we can reach many different sectors. Please feel free to keep posting your company type so that everyone can get to know you. And now, before I move to our speakers for today, I would like to talk about the Smart Cities Marketplace, the initiative that is making possible this webinar today. Many of you might know about it, others not, but basically the Smart Cities Marketplace is a European Commission initiative that aims to engage cities and towns of all sizes to deliver more sustainable urban environmental projects. They help them explore this solution, shape the projects, and the ultimate objective is to close a deal for financing those projects. How do they do this? Well, there's four things that the Smart Cities Marketplace offers. First is a repository of EU climate neutral and smart city projects. If you go to their website, you will find many reports from successful urban sustainability projects, also solution booklets and other resources. Then this is a hub for those who look to bring climate neutral and smart city solutions to the market. And they do this by a matchmaking process where they do the match between those solutions and then potential investors that could help fund these projects. And finally, the Smart Cities Marketplace is also a forum for knowledge exchange with focus and discussion groups. And I'm actually leading the focus group on renewable heating and cooling, and that's why we are doing this webinar today. This focus group brings together experts in the sector of heating and cooling and city representatives to talk together about ideas and which are the challenges nowadays of renewable heating and cooling. And this is actually the final event we are organizing for this focus group. We also did other meetings, webinars, and we developed a solution booklet that you can see here is the solution booklet on district heating and cooling that I encourage you to check out in the website. That is the Smart Cities Marketplace, but I also want to mention the Cities Heat Detox campaign. This is a campaign from the Covenant of Mayors. You might have heard about it already, but if not, please go and check their website. This campaign has gathered many inspiring case studies from cities in Europe that are working to detoxify the heating and cooling. And the Covenant of Mayors is also inviting you to their ceremony in Brussels next 16th of October, where the award winners of the Covenant Awards, which are Mechelen, La Peranta, and Domokos, will be physically awarded there. So if you have the chance, please don't miss it and go attend this event in Brussels. All right, and having said this, I know we all want to hear our speakers today, so I will go directly to that now. Our four speakers will talk about heat without burning, how to decarbonize and modernize the heating and cooling sector in European cities. And first of all, we have Isabela León. She works for the NGO ECODES in Spain in the public policy area, and she's leading advocacy efforts on the decarbonization of heating and cooling in Spain. She also coordinates the Spanish platform for heating and cooling decarbonization, focusing on accelerating just and sustainable solutions in the sector. Isabela will talk today about the importance of district heating and cooling, and she will present a guide they developed for developing local heating and cooling plans in Spanish cities. So, Isabela, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you. Can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for the invitation, and thank you for the introduction, Julian. As mentioned, my name is Isabela León, and today I will be sharing with you two key pieces of our work, which is our guide for local heating and cooling plans and our recent report that's called Cooling Today to Live Tomorrow, that we've done from the platform and from ECODES. Together, they show how planning can integrate both mitigation and adaptation to make our cities more resilient. To set the scene, I want to begin with what's happening right now. I don't know where each of you are physically, but here in Spain, in the middle of September, we're going through a heat wave. And in Madrid today, it's going to reach 36 degrees. So that's a lot. Across Europe, this summer has brought record-breaking heat waves, droughts, and wildfires, reminding us that risks are no longer distant, but immediate. Let me share some figures with you. In 2023, 48,000 people in Europe died due to extreme heat. In Spain, 1 in 3 households cannot keep cool in summer, and research shows that urban heat islands can raise surface temperatures by 10 to 15 degrees during extreme events. More recent data by the Imperial College of London confirms this trend. This July, a 10-day heat wave across 12 major European cities caused around 2,300 deaths, with 1,500 of them directly linked to climate change. And of course, behind these numbers are families, vulnerable groups, and cities struggling to keep people safe. This is not only an energy issue, but a public health emergency. Cooling is becoming as important as heating, but if unmanaged, it can trigger high energy demand and worsen inequalities. What is the response? This is why Europe has taken action. Under the new Energy Efficiency Directive, municipalities with more than 45,000 inhabitants are required to prepare local heating and cooling plans. And as the EU tracker from Energy Cities shows, we are not ready. At least in Spain, from 162 cities that meet this criteria, only one has a plan. So we need to see this not as a bureaucratic burden, but as an opportunity to be transformative, to integrate building retrofits, passive measures, urban design, and citizen participation into one coherent strategy that delivers both mitigation and adaptation for our cities. This is not only a compliance exercise, but it is a chance to rethink how we organize energy and comfort in our urban areas. So for this, our guide for local heating and cooling plans to be able to develop them was created through a collaborative process. It is based on 4 pillars and it was co-created by Fundación Renovables with ADAC, which is the National Association for District Heating and Cooling, and ourselves from ACODES. For this, we organize working groups for each one of the topics with more than 60 experts participating, including the Ministry for Ecological Transition and the National Energy Agency. The result of this is a practical framework built on 4 pillars, which I won't go into much detail because of time constraints, but we'll share with you. It's basically the detail of what every plan should have, like active measures from efficient and renewable systems, including district heating and cooling and heat pumps, passive measures like bioclimatic design, insulation, and nature-based solutions. One of the most important points, which is citizen engagement and participation on these plans, ensuring we have social acceptance from them and awareness from the communities. And of course, the point that interested most to everyone, which is the financing of this to be able to carry them out. So each pillar is like a building block, and together they create a coherent strategy. There are not isolated measures, and the plan has to be able to be executed. It's not enough with drafting it. Having laid out how plans should be structured, let's zoom out a bit, because even with strong building level measures, like the framework given by the recent EPBD, people will still be at risk if we don't address what's happening outside of our buildings. Inside our buildings, heat pumps are essential for decarbonization, and I want to make something clear. They don't create new heat, they transfer it outdoors. But when that heat is expelled into cities full of sealed surfaces and dense structures, it accumulates. In fact, studies show that in Madrid, surface temperatures in the city center can be 8.5 degrees higher than in surrounding areas during heat waves. And in Barcelona, the urban heat island effect can increase household cooling demand by up to 30%. This is why urban planning is as important as technology. Even the most efficient systems won't be enough if our streets and buildings keep trapping heat. Think of the difference of walking in a shaded street with trees versus walking in an asphalt avenue surrounded by buildings. One protects life, the other amplifies risk. So planning must include cooling the city itself, not just the buildings. And here, collective solutions like district heating and cooling networks can help reduce waste heat and improve resilience. In our report, Cooling Today to Live Tomorrow, Rethinking Cities for Extreme Heat, we propose a hierarchy of solutions for more livable cities. Starting with nature-based measures like trees, water, and vegetation that bring shade, cool surfaces, and provide immediate relief. Then comes urban design, reducing paving, choosing reflective materials, permeable surfaces, and creating ventilation corridors to let air flow through the city. Next are passive building strategies like insulation, shading, and bioclimatic retrofits that can lower energy demand and keep the indoor temperatures comfortable. And then we prioritize district heating and cooling networks, which has to be collective, efficient, and renewable based. Then comes centralized building systems at the scale of the whole building, which optimize efficiency and control. And finally, the efficient individual systems, such as heat pumps, carefully placed and smartly managed to avoid adding heat stress to urban environments. An example of resilience, for instance, in Barcelona, has created a network of climate shelters in school and public spaces during the summer, adding shade, vegetation, and water surfaces so that vulnerable groups can access safe and cooler environments during heat waves. The message is clear. We need to start systemic and then complement with technology. This is how we protect health, cut emissions, and improve equity. So, where does this leave us? Europe has made important progress on heating decarbonization with ambitious policies and clear roadmaps, but cooling remains underaddressed, even as heat waves are becoming more frequent and severe with cities at the front line. What we need now is integrated planning that brings both sides together, decarbonizing heating and cooling in buildings, while also cooling our cities to protect people's health. Local heating and cooling plans are the tool that can connect decarbonization, adaptation, and resilience in one strategy. And if we succeed, we will not only manage extreme heat or decarbonize heating systems, but build truly resilient cities. Cities that protect life, that reduce inequalities, and that remain livable under a changing climate. Places where buildings are efficient, streets are cooler, and communities feel safe and included. This is the vision behind integrating heating and cooling into local planning, not a technical exercise, but a pathway for healthier, fairer, and more resilient cities for generations to come. So thank you very much, and please feel free to reach out if you like to continue this discussion.
Thank you, Isabella. Thank you very much for framing the topic in general, showing us these guidelines that you're developing in Spain, and of course the importance of cooling nowadays. It's very important. I don't know if there are any questions from the audience yet, but otherwise, as you mentioned, cooling, maybe very quickly, could you tell us how much importance are you giving in those guidelines for the heating and cooling plants in Spain that they focus not only on heating, also on cooling? I guess this is something you are looking into.
Can you repeat it? I didn't listen to it.
You develop the guidelines for municipalities on how to develop heating and cooling plants. In those guidelines, I guess you also put a lot of importance in looking into cooling also, right? Not only heating.
Yes.
Okay, because I feel like often is forgotten.
It's forgotten, and that's why we need cities to step up in this front, because it's becoming even deadlier every summer. And as you may be aware, in Spain we had a lot of wildfires during this summer, and the heat waves were above 40 degrees, so it's very dangerous.
Okay. And then Leonie mentions if you consider geothermal heat pumps in your study also for cooling. I don't know if this is an option or if this study can be shared also so that people can see it.
We are going to share the study, of course. We haven't considered In the report of cooling cities, active technologies, we have considered, of course, the array of heat pumps, district heating and cooling, and centralized heating and cooling for buildings. But it's more about heating the entire city. Of course, geothermal heat pumps are a great solution, but at least in Spain, I know that in the rest of Europe, there are a broader solution that is considered, but at least in Spain, it varies from the climatic areas which we have. So in some areas, it's better to put air-to-air heat pumps or air-to-water heat pumps than geothermal.
Okay. Thank you, Isabel. I think more questions are coming in, but maybe we can leave them for the
Yeah,
discussion later.
of course.
And now I will give the floor to our next speaker, who is, let me see if I pronounce this correctly, Petra Bifut. I think I forgot. Maybe she can clarify.
Almost good.
Okay, thank you. She's a strategic advisor in energy transition, EU affairs and national advocacy for the city of The Hague in the Netherlands. She has 15 years of experience in the energy transition field and has worked for diverse organizations, apart from public administration, also university or United Nations in human rights. She will present the decarbonizing strategies and the challenges that they have in the city of The Hague. So please, Petra, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you for your great introduction, Julen. Yeah, my name is Petra Bijvoet. I'm a strategic advisor in the city of The Hague. And we have for you, it's a good to have a little bit of an idea what kind of city we are. If you can see the map, we are near the coast of at the coast of the Netherlands, and we have like 11 kilometers of shoreline. So if we are talking about CO2 and heat and the upcoming sea, so it's very much important for us to take measures to control the upcoming heat and the CO2 reduction. It's a big part of our strategy. And what we can see in our city, it is very densely built and also very densely populated. So it's difficult to take all those measures. We are like surrounded by other cities, by some parks, but we don't have so much space to implement all the measures that we would like to take. And just to have a little bit of impression about how the city is look like, with the national government here in the middle as well, and the business district in the center, but also we have districts where populations, like there are 180 nationalities within the cities and within the city, and we have to our aim is to involve our citizens. So with 180 nationalities, it is a big challenge, but I will come to that later for you. And to see about the challenges, we have like, it's a very rich population, but there are also like more than 11% of the households that struggle with energy poverty or with poverty in general. And nationally, that is much lower. And as you can read, we have also like 100,000 of households that we want to improve with insulation programs. But there are more than 25% is private, so renting, and we have 21,000 homeowners associations. And homeowners associations have to make, the households within have to make decisions about how to improve houses, what kind of heat supply, what kind of insulation programs. They have to approve the measures that are proposed. And that is difficult to convince everyone to with the measures that are, there might be for energy supply the best option. So we have a lot of differences between neighborhoods. So what have we done? We made a vision on the heat transition. We looked at our districts, and we looked on what kind of heat solution might be feasible and also affordable, and for society, the most cheapest solution. And you can see with the yellow ones, there are for this moment, at this moment right now, more appropriate for heat pumps from a, but the others, we have district heating as the most as the best option for to make this transition work. And you see the red small lines. There is already a district heating system, but it has to be decarbonized, and we have plans for that. So from this more general vision, we are now going into a make a heat program and elaborate in more detail our plans so that our citizens can make also decisions for themselves about what kind of solutions they would like to take. But for a big part of the city, we see district heating as a good solution. And as Shell, the heating and oil, the oil company, was situated here. They well mapped our subsoil, and we notice now that we have a very favorable conditions for deep geothermal heat sources. So deep geothermal, that is like 2 kilometers deep, is that is what we see as a big part of the heat sources that we would like to develop. And in fact, we have developed already some of those. For example, what you can see here is this is like an inner city deep geothermal heat source. You see the houses nearby, but it is well fed in, and it's in operation since like 2021. And we estimate like that we could develop 8 till 10 deep geothermal heat sources within the city of The Hague. So we have also a lot of knowledge in deep geothermal. There is a center of expertise, and it's also an economic force. So it is part of our economic innovation strategy to develop this ecosystem. And but deep geothermal is not the only one. We have also more low temperature sources, aquathermal, for example, but we are now experimenting also with heat collectors beneath artificial sport fields. These are like more small scale solutions in comparison with district heating. And what we so-called, it's a Dutch word, inloopoplossing. That is a mini heat grids with a temporary heat solution. And then when the big heat grid is developed, they can connect, and with a definite like geothermal heat source, we can connect them to that grid. So we don't want to wait that long. We have also our solutions that are more at smaller scale, and it's easier for citizens also to see how it works. And when we are looking at our existing district heating system, that is, we have to decarbonize. And for that, we also use residual heat from industries, from the Rotterdam harbor. And although this is challenging because not all our citizens see that as a local heat source, and they don't see it also as a clean heat source. So local heat sources have really the preference of our citizens. And now we are coming into that because we are talking about heat sources, we are talking about grids, but you have to develop the whole chain. So we also want to have citizens participation, citizen engagement. We do a lot for this. For example, we do energy education with the energy coaches. We have one-stop shops for our citizens, but also for our homeowners associations. There are subsidies available, extra on top of the national subsidies. And so this is a whole system that we are developing. And I think it's not, we are very proud that we are the first Dutch city to have the mission label for the 100 climate neutral and smart city mission. And for that, we have also a city climate contract with climate deals that we make with all our stakeholders, with our citizens, but also with our professional stakeholders within the city. And so we have a citizen council and a climate council that are citizens that are also looking into our plans and give us feedback on our plans. And that's, yeah, it is important to have everyone involved, especially with projects that take such a long time to implement. So we do this also with energy challenges and with energy festivals. So we try to, to cover the whole chain. And coming back to geothermal, we see like we need to have new financial instruments and also for innovation within geothermal. And there is a lot of finance, a big finance need for also the public integrated heat company that we are now going to develop because of the new to be fit for the heat law that will come into force, and our new heat law that will come into force next year. That is most probably because still the parliament, the council has to approve it yet. So, there is a lot to say also about the regulatory procedures that is needed to be simplified. And what we would like to do is also to have like a knowledge sharing platform with other cities within in Europe to share knowledge on district heating and also especially on deep geothermal heat sources to together to be better fit for the future. So some questions maybe. I will stop sharing my screen so I can see.
Thank you, Petra.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing the experience in The Hague. Very interesting. I don't know if there are any questions from the audience. If not, all I would like to mention, you mentioned how important it is to involve all citizens and stakeholder engagement, right? And actually, we will have a presentation later from Kadri on this, so it's very well linked. But I don't know, do you think this is one of the main challenges you are facing in the heating and cooling in The Hague, or it's more or less easy to then engage the people? And
no, it is a big challenge, and it is everything to do also with affordability. And that is a big problem right now because if you develop district heating, it's for society the cheapest solution, but it isn't always the cheapest solution of the like what people now pay for their heat is less than they have to pay later on. So you have to really give them a good offer, but also a lot of support measures for people that are already in need or now are dealing with energy poverty. And maybe with the upcoming heat price or gas prices, but also with the heat, we really look for the vulnerable households. So involving them, citizens, is not enough. You have really to be able to make a good offer to connect citizens to the grid. That is something that is the most important right now.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. And Nicholas actually raised a hand. Do you want to say something, Nicholas?
Yeah, I had a question how The Hague being a very densely populated city, do you find that there is any barriers to the electrical demands for the machinery that you're putting in? So is there normally major upgrades that have to be done to power the systems themselves?
Yeah, it's you. This is something I forgot to mention because we are dealing with grid congestion. So on one hand, the heat grids are part of the solution because then less sustainable electricity will be needed. But on the other hand, you always need for the heat pumps, but also for to make the heat geothermal heat sources, you always need electricity. And this in the Netherlands, it is a big problem at the moment because and I see Omar, he knows it because Amsterdam is even worse than The Hague, and we are already have a lot of problems on that. So I see that as a big challenge also for the to make, yeah, to decarbonize our heat system and cooling systems. And it will, we will need like energy hubs and more balanced energy supply with smart systems. And still with that, there will be a lot of finance needed to extend the electricity capacity and yeah, and all those grids. So yeah, it is vulnerable, definitely.
Thank you, Petra. Then, as Omar was also nodding with the head, it's perfect time to give the floor to him. Omar Shafkat is a researcher and project manager at Amsterdam University of Applied Sciences with expertise in the field of urban energy systems. He's currently involved in the EU-funded project Atelier, which aims to demonstrate positive energy districts in the lighthouse cities of Amsterdam and Bilbao and replicable solutions in 6 fellow cities. So I think Omar will present to us today these 2 pilots in Amsterdam and Bilbao. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Julian, and thanks so much for having us today. And Petra, I will touch upon the grid congestion issue a little bit. So I think it's a very good continuation. Atelier, we're approaching heating and cooling, of course, in the context of positive energy districts. And just to give you a little bit of an overview of what the project is about, we're focused on brownfield developments. So both the areas in Amsterdam and in Bilbao, they're old industrial sites which are being redeveloped. This makes it quite interesting in the sense that we do have quite a lot of influence in terms of the design and of the areas, and then we want to replicate the learnings and findings from these demonstrators into our 6 fellow cities: Bratislava, Budapest, Copenhagen, Krakow, Matosinhos, and Riga. Of course, we do this in the context of a positive energy districts. So some of the innovations and some of the components that we look at is we're of course doing the demos. We have been working on city visions. We feel that if interventions are carried out when they're aligned with the long-term city visions, that has a much better chance of success. We've been working with innovation ecosystems as well. We have an energy community, at least in Amsterdam. We've been focused on capacity building in our cities as well, and we're also looking at replication plans for all of our cities. Just very briefly, we're 2 lighthouse cities and 6 fellow cities, as I mentioned, around 29 partners in 11 countries. And then with that, I'm going to jump into what we're doing in Amsterdam. So our positive energy district in Amsterdam is located in the north of Amsterdam, in an area called Bergslotersam. And over there, we have 2 sites, 2 main sites, which is Republica and Poppies. And I'm going to focus today on Republica and what we have been doing there. Republica is a is a new development. It's 6 buildings, multi-use. We have residential apartments. We have commercial spaces. We have a hotel there, as well as food and beverage sites as well. The energy system that we've developed there, that makes it it's essentially a multimodal energy system, where we have, of course, 260 kilowatts of PV, but on top of that, we have a 1 megawatt battery, as well as a 10,000 liters of heat buffer. We have a heat and a cold storage. We have a 8 TES, the aquathermal energy storage, as well as heat pumps. But what makes this quite interesting is we also have a district heating connection, and that figures in very well with the issue that we faced, which is precisely grid congestion. We have implemented a very smart energy management system as well, and we're also operating on energy markets in terms of trading. That's day-ahead markets, but also the imbalance as well as FCR at the moment. One of the defining issues, of course, for us was grid congestion, and I'll talk a little bit about it. What this allows us to do by having this system is we can optimize the heating needs based on cost, based on CO2, based on energy positivity. We also have one thing which is quite interesting, which is we have a regulatory sandbox exemption, which allows us to optimize behind the meter. And we have also, because of that, we also have an energy community in place, and the energy community is it operates on the privately owned grid. It's a single connection to the public grid. Based on that, we can offer, at the moment, primarily, there's a lot of focus on costs, and that's a result of the energy crisis we went to, but we can also optimize based on CO2 emissions as well as the interaction with the wider energy market. This diagram scares a lot of people in the Netherlands. We're right in the red area. When we applied for our grid connection, we applied for a 2 megawatt connection, but we were granted a 1.5 megawatt. So that's almost 75% of what we asked for. But more critically, during the peak months of November to March, from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., we had a limitation of peak capacity of 535 kilowatts, which, as you can imagine, is about 1/4 of the capacity we applied for. We managed to stay under there. We developed prior to the demonstration. We developed a digital twin to see how we can manage our assets, and we managed to stay under that. The restrictions got lifted mid 2024. So right now we're using our flexible assets more towards steering for flexibility on the FCR and imbalance market, and that also helps us develop a good business case. One of the assets that helped us in this period was, of course, the district heating connection. And that, of course, comes with a bit of a trade-off, which is you are sacrificing at times as the CO2 emissions and energy positivity for remaining within the stipulated limits. And that's, I think, a very interesting aspect to think about. But it also allows us to deal with challenges that we face due to grid congestion. At the moment, we're in the process of taking these lessons learned and trying to align that with the heat transition planning that I think that Petra mentioned as well for Hague. But we're trying to take these lessons into the heat transition planning for Amsterdam. And then in Bilbao, we have a slightly different approach. Zarzare, the island that is our focus in Bilbao, is the largest, is the last brownfield industrial site that is being developed, and over there. The planning for this has been going on for decades, and the idea was always to have district heating, but with different sources. So the original plan was for a CHP power plant. The second iteration for the planning was for biomass. The third with waste incineration. But finally, before the start of our project, the municipality settled on a fifth generation low temperature district heating and cooling network. So in Bilbao, we have 3 sites. We have north area, central area, and south area. These are essentially the sites that are developed now, but it ties in very well with the development plans for the rest of the area as well. And one of the strengths of the system that we're implementing there is that it is being developed in a modular way. So that also has an impact on district heating. Or the business case for district heating and cooling. And the reason for that is that the investments can come in as the developments progress, which allows us to meet the demands as we go along with the development phase of the island. As I mentioned, we have 3 sites. On the north side, we have 3 residential blocks. And in the central area, we have 2 municipal buildings and 3 refurbished houses. And on the south side, we have a municipal building. Just some numbers, around 30,000 square meter of floor area, 87 kilowatts kilowatts of PV. And then we have a geothermal system for heating and cooling and hydrothermal as a peak. There's been smart metering systems implemented, energy management systems, and also some street infrastructure. The system we have is a 5th generation heating and cooling, and there we're the temperatures that we deal with on supply side are around 25 degrees. And just to give you some indication of the design of the system. Oops, sorry. In terms of heating, it's about 12.7 gigawatt hours per year, out of which 8.6 is for residential and 4.1 is for services. Similarly, for the hot water, around 3.7 gigawatt hours per year. On the cooling side, it's 4.3 gigawatt hours for residential and 4.2 for services. We also have some KPIs where we compare with the baseline that was primarily natural gas-based boilers, and we see that we have savings of around 56% in terms of primary energy and 68% in terms of greenhouse gas emissions. So overall, I think this is feeding in very well with the decarbonization strategy in the city and for this new area, and it's also allowing us to demonstrate and benchmark a new technology which was originally not a part of the planning initially. And with that, I would like to thank you. And if you'd like to know more about the project, our website is there, and please get in touch as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Omar. Thank you very much. Very interesting also. And I don't know if there are any questions from the audience for Omar or not yet. Maybe just from my side, Omar, as you mentioned, 2 different projects, 2 cities, Amsterdam and Bilbao. They're very different. I don't know, do you see any common challenges in both now, or do you see them as very different projects?
I mean, in a way, they're quite different. The common challenge is, of course, both cities are striving towards decarbonization, and I think with the diversity of the solutions, it offers us two different alternatives. It's the regulatory structures are different. The local market structures are quite different, but as we're focused on also on scalability towards the wider European cities community, I think by offering two different solutions, we can actually have a much better chance of scalability for a solution adaptation that's much more suited to the local conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thank you. Then I think we can move to our, well, Nicholas maybe mentioned something. Did the tidal aspects and tricky region of the island increase cost by a lot? Is there systems in Holland existing to make it cheaper? I think the island in Bilbao is a river island, if I'm correct.
It's a river
So I
island,
guess
indeed. Yeah.
I don't know
So
if
that's not much of a consideration. And the second part of the question is
systems and expertise in Holland to make it cheaper. I think mentioning the island was only for Bilbao, right? Not for...
indeed.
Okay. Then I will jump to our last speaker, who is Kadri Hansalu. She's the communications lead at Utilitas, which is Estonia's largest producer of renewable energy. She also supports the Estonian Wind Power Association in advancing public dialogue on wind energy. And Kadri is passionate about making complex energy topics understandable and engaging for diverse audiences. And that's what she will talk about today, because she will talk about their strategy for stakeholder management and social acceptance in Estonia. Kadri, please.
Yes, hello everybody. So my name is Kadri and I'm representing a company called Utilitas, like Julian said. When Isabella started with weather, I will continue with that. It's horrific in Estonia already. It's raining all day long and it's 13 degrees. So it's the heating season is starting. So Europe is very big and very diverse also in this manner. So I will just say a few words about Utilitas. We are producing and offering the district heating service in 10 cities, 9 in Estonia and 1 in Latvia. We are also producing green electricity. We have wind farms and solar parks, so quite a diverse company already, but district heating is in the heart of it. And we are also rapidly decarbonizing. We are striving for carbon neutrality by already 2030. And we are 72% renewable at the moment. So district heating in Tallinn, it started already in 1956. So it's an old network. And that means that today we already have to build a lot of renew the networks, and we are also building new networks. And that's the and already today, approximately 2/3 of the city's buildings are connected to district heating network. And we do have district heating areas regulation, which also, of course, helps a lot. But we compare ourselves to Nordic countries. For example, Copenhagen is, I think, 90% plus district heating. So we have a long way to go. And each year we are connecting more than 100 new buildings to the grid. And also, as for decarbonizing, already in 2027, we are going to be under 10% using fossil fuels. And one of the biggest influencers there is a 110 megawatt industrial heat pump, which we are already building. And also we are adding thermal storages and electric boilers. And this all means that we have a lot of communications to do also, because we need to convince both politicians and people that we have to dig up the city every summer. We have already done it for several summers, and we are going to continue. So we do need a solid strategy of stakeholder management. So as I am working in communication field, then I'm talking about narratives and messages. Our main narrative is that district heating is a safe choice. This is maybe mainly for the decision makers, but it also applies for the clients. Then you can read it yourself, but efficiency, environmentally friendly are the keywords. And of course, we are also saying a lot about affordability for both for the individuals and the society, as we firmly believe that the more customers there are in the district heating network, the more affordable the service is. So, and it's a safe choice because also in the shared network, we can ensure the cleanest and the most affordable fuels and the technologies to keep up with the trends and needs. So our key messages for the clients, I would say, are threefold. So district heating is convenient and safe, because it's always there. We have a very good reliability, very reliable network, and consumers can be confident that water and homes are always warm. So the air is clean, because district heating helps to keep the city air clean, as heat is produced in large production units, not near every home. And of course, it's also safe, because heat is not produced in the building, so there is no risk of leakage, fire, or explosion, and so on. Of course, for the clients, the most important one is the affordability. We can firmly say that district heating prices are stable, because even during the energy crisis, the price of district heating was significantly more stable than that of alternative types of heating, because we have a mix of fuels. We are not dependent only on gas. So the price of district heating is regulated in Estonia, so it's strictly cost-based. And over the past decade, district heating using clean energy has become more affordable, as the cost of district heating has increased less than people's incomes and the general price level. And also low additional costs have to be kept in mind, because it's basically a one-time investment, and maintenance costs are very low for the consumer. And the third pillar is being future-proof, which is very important in this changing times. So we are speaking about renewable local heat sources, because we produce heat mainly from sustainably packed up domestic wood industry waste, and also use waste heat. We are constantly innovating heat production by adding the cleanest and most efficient technologies, and sustainability, because efficient district heating ensures a better energy class and label for the buildings, as heat production and distribution are proven to be sustainable already. So, of course, we have a lot of different ways of communicating with stakeholders, and and clients, but we also have done some bigger campaigns, media campaigns. These are the biggest ones. In 2018, the message was the modern hero. So we spoke about how district heating client saves nature every day. And the second one is we love the 4 seasons. And we can say that district heating customers help preserve the 4 seasons. And the last one this year, in the beginning of year, we went back to the basics. We're just confirming to everybody that district heating is the best urban energy. So basically the best and the safest choice. And that's all from my side. Just a quick review. I'm open to the questions.
Thank you, Kadri. Looks like Petra, did you have a question already? Yes, please.
Yeah, I was. It was very interesting, Kadri, and especially because I was in Tallinn, so I have the idea how it looked like. I was interested in your narrative. What I see in the Netherlands, we are going to elections this year, and the narrative of being independent of fossil gas supply from governments that are not that stable, and you're even closer. So is that an issue that is something that is happening within in your practice, or is it not an issue at all? That's not for or to include it in your narrative. I was just curious.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for a question. Of course, it is an issue, and we are speaking about it a lot also regarding the electricity market and the electricity production. But as the district heating is very well, very far decarbonized already, so it's not like the biggest issue, but we during the energy crisis, of course, we have spoken a lot about gas not being the best choice, not because of the reliability, and of course the Russian gas, and also we had quite a scary situation where our Latvian colleagues are like the heat where it's stored, not that the gas was stored, and they said that okay, we're not going to be able to give gas to you because we need it for our country. So it's this kind of protectionist issues also. So we are very keen to teaching the natural gas, but we have already made the investment decisions on that, and we are already on the way.
Yeah, and in comparison with the Netherlands, we're still depending a lot on gas. It's a big part of our energy supply still.
Yeah,
so
of course.
we are making the transformation now. Yeah, thank you. Good.
Thank you. Maybe I would like to ask a question to Kadri, but to everyone also. Do you feel like the social acceptance of district heating and renewable sources for heating has been increasing progressively all these years, or is it more like it increased, then again there's been like low valleys of people don't wanting district heating anymore? How are the trends, more or less?
I can maybe start, and then the others can answer also, because in Estonia, of course, the peak was during the energy crisis when the gas was very expensive, and then everybody wanted to connect to district heating. I think we had like 500 buildings connected in one summer. But now the price of gas has gone down, of course, and the other issue that there are a lot of other heat pump based like local solutions to consider, and so we are in a competition in a way. So yeah, there's a mix.
Someone would like to add? Yeah, Omar?
Yeah, for us as well, it's as Petra mentioned, our district heating prices are quite high. I read a comparative study for I think our prices were on average around 2 times higher than Germany and 3 times higher than Sweden. And the Swedish system is quite similar to what Kadri described as well in Estonia. And I think that plays a pretty significant role. And part of the reason is our prices are often tied to the natural gas prices, which presents a challenge. In Amsterdam, last year, the heat transition was district heating was supposed to be a significant part of that, but that does not seem to be happening at the moment.
Yeah, following Omar, in Spain, gas prices are heavily subsidized and electricity is quite high and is not very dependable. But what we've gathered, at least from the experience in Barcelona, which is one of the biggest district heating and cooling networks, is that they're very happy with it. Last year, for the first time, the cooling demand surpassed the heating demand, which was groundbreaking for them. And they even have a hospital connected to the network, and it's fairly good for them. But at least in Spain, with heating and the boilers being so cheap, it's difficult to introduce new technology to users.
Okay, thank you. We have a question also from the audience. Palkis, yeah, if you wanna talk yourself.
Yeah, maybe it's my turn.
Yeah.
Thank you. So let me introduce myself. So my name is Pakis. In my roles, I'm president of the Hungarian Heat Pump Association. So we work very closely, actually, with district heating companies. And recently, this week, we had a meeting with the district heating industry here because it was their yearly conference. And actually, we came to the decision that the two industry now goes in one direction, because for many years it was competition between large heat pumps and district heating. And now with recent developments, having high temperature heat pumps with many heat sources, we are part of the district heating. So we can contribute the safe renewable supply of district heating, because actually it's a zero CO2 emission locally, and it's a 2050 ready solution using heat pump. And I was very happy to see that you have a majority or big part of your heating and actually heating coming from heat pumps or waste heat, which I found very good, because we see also a tendency here that still in Hungary we rely unfortunately a lot from Russian gas, which is not a very good thing. So we have to switch from Russian gas to something else, and we support very much large heat pumps. But also there is a biomass investments coming, which makes difficulty maybe in supply, but actually it's local CO2 emission. So I think once a decision is made for heat sources or how we heat up districts, it's very much local. But it's always considering local heat sources, because bringing from far away wood or other sources, it has an additional CO2 footprint. So for heat pumps, what we do and what we seek always is a local heat source. And it's good that your example was that you found local heat sources and you use multiple heat sources. So I think it's good to hear that you have this, because here in Hungary we still have a small share of heat pumps in district heating, unfortunately, so far. But we will have more and more, and we seek a good example. So thank you for your presentation.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much. Anything to comment from your side also? Heat pumps or? Yep.
Just if I may, I think another interesting aspect that we're experiencing due to the current geopolitical situation is Of course, with district heating, especially if it's CHP based, that strengthens the electrical system as well in the city, so you don't have to transmit all the electricity from other parts of the country, and that can potentially also have an impact on topics like grid congestion. So I think we do need to take a systematic approach as well.
Yes. Then Nicholas is asking here about the maintenance of heat pumps. Apparently, it's an issue in the UK. Plumbers don't have experience. I don't know. Do you see also this? It's a new concept and it's not easy in your countries, or?
Yep, at least here in Spain, in the platform for decarbonization of heating and cooling, one of the members is the National Confederation of Installers, and they have seen this also as a barrier because the technology keeps evolving and it's difficult to keep the training up to date for each installer in all around the country. But we have proposed 10 initial measures to accelerate the deployment of heating decarbonization, the deployment of heat pumps. And one of those measures that we presented to the national government is exactly that, the keep on the training to installers, to plumbers, to electricians, and we need that to keep up with the development of the technology.
Thank you, Petra.
Yeah, I think it's good that you mentioned this because in the Netherlands, there is a shortage of labor, especially in technical professions. And it's not something that is easily to overcome because it's a long-term investment that you have to make. So it's not that we have the solution already, but I think this is why Omar also is here in this meeting. We have like centers of expertise in the Netherlands where knowledge institutions and governments and also citizens and NGOs, but also companies work together to keep the education updated with the newest technologies, and that students are working in projects with companies on real questions and real issues and challenges so that they can learn, and also there is more research on it. So we see in the Netherlands a lot of these public-private partnerships, especially to train new students to be more involved with technique in energy transition, but also in health, of course, because there is a lot of shortage of technical skilled people.
Yeah, I think that happens in a few European countries, right? Probably also in Germany. Yeah. Okay, then are there any other questions or comments from the audience, the speakers? All good. Otherwise, I think we can finish already. It's 12:15. And well, I would like to thank all of our speakers. I think it was really interesting presentations, really interesting projects, very diverse countries in Europe, and very inspiring too. This session is recorded, so after we upload it to the website, we will share it with everyone, also those that couldn't attend, and any other resources that are worth sharing by email, you will all receive them. So I would like to thank you all again and have a nice rest of the day. See you soon, hopefully.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.